One of the great psalms in the Hebrew Psalter is Psalm 15. In the Jewish commentator on the Psalms in Sonsino, they make a statement, Cohen is the author, that this is one of the most popular chapters of the Psalter next to Psalm 23, and that it is commonly called God's gentleman. It's a description of the ideal of what a human character should look like. The Talmud also remarks that of the 613 commandments of the Pentateuch, that they are summarized in this great psalm, meaning that their whole purpose is crystallized here. And this is on page 35 of the Sonsino commentary on the Bible. I would like to read the Hebrew and then make comments on the grammar inductively, looking at the morphology of the verbal forms used here, and also a little bit of historical Hebrew grammar, which I enjoy doing, along with commentary. So let's begin. Mizmor LeDavid, a psalm belonging to David. By the way, LeDavid can mean added to the Davidic collection, or David as the author, or a psalm about David. I take the Lamed Actoris, the Lamed of authorship here, and see David as the author. So a psalm belonging to David. Adonai, mi yagur be'aholecha. O Lord, who will dwell in your tabernacle? Notice, or in your tent, actually, aholecha, meaning tent. So we address the Lord, O Lord. It's like we could say an address here. Mi yagur, who will dwell? Notice mi is your interrogative pronoun, who, and yagur is from the root gur, to sojourn or dwell. It's a cow imperfect third masculine singular from gur. So who will dwell in your tent? And be is your inseparable preposition, and aholecha is the noun for tent. And notice the ha is your pronominal suffix, second masculine singular. So who will dwell in your tent? Who will be able to do that? And so he repeats it again. Here we have synonymous parallelism. Mi yishkon v'har kodshecha. And who will dwell in your holy mountain, or in the mountain of your holiness? Notice again, we have the interrogative pronoun who. Yishkon is from the root shachan, to dwell, and it's a cow imperfect third masculine singular with the yod prefix from shachan, to dwell. So who will dwell in the mountain of your holiness, or in your holy mountain? Notice that again is your inseparable preposition. Ar kodshecha is mountain of your holiness, or your holy mountain. Notice kodesh means holy, and kodesh is in construct with ha, the pronominal suffix again, second masculine singular. So who will dwell in your holy mountain? Olek tamim ufoel tzedek. The one who walks perfectly or uprightly. Notice holek is the cow participle, masculine singular from halak. Notice it has a holam vav, an o vowel, followed by a tseri. So he who walks uprightly. Tamim here means like perfectly. And I think it's the idea without being immoral. Tamim. Abraham, for example, was one who was exhorted by the Lord to walk before me and be wholehearted or be perfect in Genesis 17:1. So we have the same word used there, the same noun. So walk, he who walks uprightly, who fo'el tzedek, and who does righteousness. Notice poel or foel is your cal active participle from al, to do, and followed by the u, the conjunction, and sedek means righteousness. So the one who does that which is right, who lives and walks in a righteous way and does righteousness. The dober emet dovavo, and who speaks truth in his heart. Notice dover is your participial form, your cal active participle masculine singular from davar, to speak, who speaks emet, emet meaning truth, vil vavo, in his heart. Vav means heart, and be here, again, is the inseparable preposition in, and then we have the pronominal suffix in the Olam Vav, third masculine singular. So the one who speaks truth in his heart, lo ragal al leshono. That is, he has no slander upon his tongue. Who does not slander upon his tongue. Notice la is your negative particle. Ragal is the verb meaning to slander, from ragal, cal, simple stem, cal, perfect, third masculine singular, to slander. He does not slander upon his tongue. Al is the preposition upon, and lashon means tongue. Lashon here, tongue, is in construct with o, the pronominal suffix, third masculine singular. And lo asa lere'ehu ra'ah, nor does he do to his neighbor evil, or an evil thing. Lo, again, the negative particle. Asa is your cal perfect, third masculine singular, from asa. And then lere'ehu. Notice re'eh means neighbor, and the hey has dropped out in this noun form, and who is your pronominal suffix, third masculine singular. So he has not done to his neighbor ra'ah, evil. A beautiful alliteration here, lo re'ehu ra'ah. That's part of Hebrew poetry. It's beautiful. So he has not done evil to his neighbor. V'cherpa lo nasa al kerovo. And a reproach. In other words, doing something to discredit his neighbor. Herpa meaning reproach. A reproach, he is not lifted up against his neighbor. Notice la again is the negative particle not. Nasa means to lift up or to take up. Al is your preposition translated here, against, and then kereb would be those close, and it's looking at one's neighbor. So kerov is in construct with o, the pronominal suffix, third masculine singular. So basically, he wants to follow Leviticus 19. Va'ahavta l're'echa kamocha. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. The second great commandment that Jesus talks about in the book of Matthew, chapter 22, where he was asked, which of the 613 commandments should we keep? And he narrowed it down to two. Va'ahavta et Adonai, and you shall love the Lord Elohecha b'chol levavcha, with all your heart, b'chol nafshecha, and with all your soul, b'chol me'odecha, and with all your might. And then he said the second commandment is like unto the first, va'ahavta l're'echa kamocha. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. And so we're seeing that here. So one of the most important things that we see here is one does not slander another person. One does not do evil by doing that to another, nor take up a reproach against one's neighbor. It is interesting, there is the idea in the Talmud, and I'm finding this again on page 35 of the Sonsino uh, commentary on the Psalms, where whoever speaks slander is as though he denied the fundamental principle of God's existence. The Holy One, blessed be he, says of him, I and he cannot dwell together in the world. So, in other words, the slander is a very, very bad thing. And if one wants to dwell and sojourn with the Lord in his presence, one cannot do that by slandering one's neighbor. One needs to speak truth in his heart, not be double-tongued, say one thing and then say another, but always speak truthfully and never slander one's neighbor. And then we move on. It says in verse 4, Nivzeh be'enav nim'as, ve'et yirei Adonai yechabed, nishba lehara velo yamir. That is, um, that is one rejected or a despised, rejected person. And this is like a vile person. Nim'as is from the root ma'as, meaning to reject. It's a nifal here with the noon prefix and the comments showing a nifal participle. And so the one rejected, no doubt by God, by his attitude. And so it's looking, can I say, at a person that's vile in his actions and so forth, that he, in whose eyes we could say, be'enav, such a person is despised. Nivzeh. Nivzeh is from the root bazah, to despise. Notice it has a noon prefix, so we're looking at a nifal, perfect, third masculine singular, and then is despised in his eyes. Be is your preposition again, and enav is from ayin, and notice it's a plural form, enayim, except here it's enav in construct with the commas followed by the vav, third masculine singular pronominal suffix. So we could say a despised person or a person rejected in God's sight because of his attitude, because of his, can I say, principles that he has. No matter how great the person might be, no matter how much money the person might have, or how popular, the Lord is saying that a person like that is despised in the sense that that is not a person you want to keep company with, I think is the idea. Sort of like birds of a feather flock together. And so what the psalmist seems to be saying is, be with those that honor the Lord. And your friends somewhat describe your own character, I think the psalmist is saying. And notice verse 4, but et yirei Adonai yechabed. That is, but those that fear the Lord, the fears of the Lord, he will honor. And notice yirei is in construct with yod he vav he here, Hashem, or the Lord. So those who fear the Lord, he will honor. That is, the person that's seeking to be God's guest. And notice yechabed is the PL form, PL imperfect, third masculine singular. And we can tell that by the vowel pattern from kabad, to honor. Notice it has a shabah, followed by a pathak, and that yod shows we're looking at a third masculine singular prefix. So he shall honor, And notice the doubling of the bait shows that we're looking at a PL stem. So the Shavah under the prefix yod, followed by the pathak under the first consonant, and then the doubling of the middle radical shows that we're looking at a PL imperfect, third masculine singular. So he honors those that fear the Lord. Nishba lehara velo yamir. That is, he swears to his own hurt, and he does not change. Notice nishba is from shabah, to swear. It is a nifal stem here, third masculine singular, indicative with the noon prefix. So he swears to, we could say, his own hurt, to hurt, I guess we could translate it. This is from the root ra'ah. It's what we call a double ayin root. The final ayin has elided and dropped out, and the hey here shows that we're looking at a hifil infinitive construct with the le. And so he swears to hurt, that is his own hurt. From ra'ah would be the root. Velo yamir, and he does not change. And notice yamir is from the root mor, to change, and here it's yamir. Again, it's a middle weak verb, and we have an ai vowel pattern with the prefix yod. So we're looking at a hifil imperfect, third masculine singular, and that is, he is caused not to change. So I think the thought here is he honors those that fear the Lord, and if he takes an oath, he'll be sure to carry it out. He's not going to take an oath and deny what he said. Even to his own hurt, he will do it, and he will not change. It's interesting when you look at the Hebrew scriptures. It's important when one takes an oath to be true to one's word. And then we move on to the next verse, verse 5. Kaspo lo natan beneshek, that is, he puts not his money on interest, or his money he does not give with interest. Notice kesef means money, and here it's in construct with o, your pronominal suffix, third masculine singular. So his money, lo natan, he does not give. Lo natan, negative particle, and lo. Natan is the cow perfect, third masculine singular from natan. So his money he does not give. Ben neshek, that is with interest. Neshek meaning interest. And then the bait inseparable preposition with. Nor does he take a bride against the innocent. V'shochad al naki lo lakach. No, notice here, shochad means bribe. Al naki means against the innocent one. Al is the preposition against. Naki would be an innocent one. Lo lakach, he does not take. Again, the negative particle followed by the root lakach, to take. So he won't take a bribe. And a couple things here. When you look at the Hebrew Torah, it is important in Leviticus 25:36 and following that you don't lend out money with interest. A fellow Jew would not do that to another Jewish person trying to help him, let's say, build a business. Now, a non-Jew, they would maybe have some interest. But I'm thinking in a Christian application, the New Testament, Jesus talked about if someone asks for something, give. And I think in the Sermon on the Mount, he's talking about this idea. And even Paul will talk about how that you work to help others. And you don't do it with exorbitant interest to try to gain one's own, can I say, material wealth. But what we have, we're to help others with. This is the way I'm understanding it in New Testament application. And then, furthermore, you don't accept a bribe. Bribery is really that which destroys a culture, a society. So, and that again is something that is talked about in the Hebrew scriptures, like the Deuteronomy 16:19 and so forth. There is a statement against bribery. And so the godly person will not accept a bribe against the innocent. And then, Ose ele lo yamot la'olam. The one who does these things. Notice Ose is your cow active participle again, masculine singular from asa. Ela is your demonstrative pronoun, the one who does these things. Lo yamot la'olam. Shall never be moved, shall not be moved. And the root here is mot, to move. And notice you have a yod prefix followed by a dogish in the mem. And so yin mot becomes yim mot. So I think really here we're looking at a nifal stem, third masculine singular from the root mot. Shall never be moved. A middle weak verb. So the one who does these things shall never be moved forever. In other words, what he's doing is living the life. There used to be a statement that we would often say in the church. We need to walk the talk. And that's what I believe this text is about, walking the talk. And Jesus summarizes it so well when he says, you love the Lord with all your heart, soul, and mind. If you do that, then you are to love your neighbor as yourself. What a beautiful psalm. And throughout life, this should be the way that we want to live if we're going to dwell spiritually in God's presence. We walk in an upright way. We do what is right. We speak truth in our heart. We don't slander our neighbor, our fellow. We don't take up any slanderous words against anyone. We don't lift up those who don't fear the Lord, but we honor those that fear the Lord, and our word needs to be true. Like Jesus said, let it be yes, yes, and no, no. And we help others out. We don't lend out money with exorbitant interest, and we don't take bribes. And the one who does these things shall never be moved, and one can then experience being in God's tent. That is, metaphorically, being in the presence of the Lord. What a beautiful, beautiful psalm. And I hope, I would encourage you to take out your Hebrew Bible, follow me, and look at the grammar inductively while we're doing this. Thank you very much.